What happens when a simple drive on an ordinary early morning turns into a nightmare that shatters lives forever?
A number of people have been killed and others have been critically injured in a gas tanker explosion in Boksburg.
What happens when a bridge, a tanker, and a moment's miscalculation collide in a tragic way? The morning of 24 December 2022 has marked not only a change in Boksburg, but South Africa. This is the story of the Boksburg explosion of 2022. Welcome back to 14th Avenue Haunting. Today, we cover a moment that not only affected the town of Boksburg, but an entire nation. Being from the East Rand originally, I've driven under that bridge over the years so many times I can't even count. I myself was so shocked reading the news on the 24th of December, the day before Christmas. I was horrified seeing the footage that was available on the internet after that day. Something that I wish my mind could have wiped, something that I wish I never saw. It was just such a catastrophic day that I doubt I will ever forget that, just as most South Africans. But before we begin, a major shout out to the Upside Down Paranormal. It is a paranormal investigations team based in South Africa that I am also a part of. We investigate South Africa's most abandoned and haunted locations. And if you are interested to see the investigations that we have done, please go to their YouTube channel and subscribe. Also, if you are into true ghost stories, the unexplained, true crimes, and tragic events, please hit that subscribe button. I am here for you as often as I can. And now we get to the disclaimer and trigger warnings. 14th Avenue Haunting does not claim any of the information provided in this video as absolute fact. The facts and the evidence given in this video are based off of eyewitness accounts, news reports, and information currently available. What you'll hear and see is deeply upsetting. There's tragedy, death, fire, grief, and please, if you feel overwhelmed, come back later and please just take care of yourself. Viewer discretion is advised. On the 24th of December 2022, a fuel tanker was heading on his way to Botswana from Port Richards Bay. The 32-year-old driver had spent the night at a truck stop in Boksburg, and by 6 o'clock in the morning, he was already on his way. It is said that the driver took a wrong turn and ended up on Hospital Street. Only 100 meters away from Tambo Memorial Hospital lies a low-lying railway bridge. It is said that the driver approached the bridge, he got out and assessed the height of the bridge. It seemed like the bridge was high enough for his 4-meter tanker to pass under a 3.6 meter height bridge. And he proceeded to go under the bridge at 6:15. But the incline at the bottom of the bridge caused the tanker's rear to lift, and it got jammed against the underside of the bridge. The driver stopped immediately, got out of his tanker and assessed the situation. That's when he realized that one of the top caps had actually scraped off and gas was now leaking into the atmosphere. Interviews with his company said that he immediately phoned the company the moment he realized what the situation was. The company then phoned the police as well as the fire station to inform them of the situation. In the meantime, the driver realized the potential dangers that they were looking at. And by this time, a lot of onlookers started to close in on the surrounding area. The driver attempted to tell people that they should vacate the area, get as far away as possible from that tanker for their own safety. In the process of trying to get onlookers to vacate the area, he passed out from the inhalation he received from all the gas. And at this point, he was taken to hospital by an ambulance. This ultimately left bystanders by themselves at the location. A silent, invisible cloud of gas spreading without many realizing how dangerous it actually was. The tanker caught on fire, and this resulted in 3 small explosions. At this point, many people gathered to witness this tanker that's stuck under the bridge and has caught fire, and being human, being super curious as to see what happened. The tanker was carrying 60,000 liters of liquefied petroleum gas, and it got ready for its biggest and most catastrophic explosion yet. At around 7:30 a.m., the final blast occurred. The blast blew 400 meters into each direction, taking anything in its path with it, including the tanker. And it was said that the explosion was so big that some described it as an earthquake. What was left was absolute destruction, some even comparing it to an apocalyptic sight. Cars, people, buildings, anything in that proximity were engulfed. The underside of the railway bridge was ripped off completely, and the explosion's shockwave destroyed cars, nearby homes, and the adjacent hospital, Tambo Memorial Hospital. "41 people lost their lives due to this incident. 41 souls that will never get to spend another Christmas with their families ever again." The nearby hospital, Tambo Memorial Hospital, that was only 100 meters away from the explosion site, was severely damaged. The explosion ripped through the emergency and X-ray wards, causing ceilings to partially collapse, and set fire in its car park. Smoke, fire, and debris filled its corridors. The hospital was unable to treat patients immediately. Many of those killed were staff of the hospital, nurses, drivers, and other employees, some of whom were trying to move their vehicles or assist patients when the blast happened. Others were bystanders and onlookers to the chaos. Nearby homes and properties were destroyed, some damaged beyond repair. Cars, houses, and a fire truck that attempted to extinguish the blaze were lost. The railway bridge itself was completely destroyed, disrupting the Germiston Springs railway line. The scale of devastation was too big, and chaos reigned. According to some reports, the immediate death toll after the explosion was announced as 8, and 49 hospitalized. But as the days followed, the death toll rose to 41, with 2 people still missing today. It's nearly impossible to capture the grief. Families destroyed, children orphaned, medical staff lost. And I saw footage of the incident right after it happened. There was some videos available to the public. And I would not recommend that any of you go and watch it. It's some of those videos are videos that I wish I had never watched in the first place. I had sleepless nights over the videos. I can't even think how it must have been like for people who were actually there. And I would highly recommend that you do not go and watch it. Just do yourself that one favor. I will also not be showing it on my videos. I think sometimes there are things that the human mind just wasn't created to witness. And to me, those videos are one of them. A memorial was erected at Tambo Memorial Hospital in remembrance of the staff that lost their lives on that day. And many had to bury those closest to them in a time of year that should have been festive. The driver of the tanker was arrested the following day, on Christmas Day, the 25th of December 2022, and he faced multiple charges: culpable homicide, negligent causing of an explosion that resulted in death, and malicious damage to property. He was due to appear in court on the 28th of December 2022, but when that day arrived, he was released. Charges dropped, reportedly due to lack of evidence. In the beginning of my research, I was looking at the fact that the driver forced a tanker, 4-meter high tanker, under a 3.6 meter high bridge. However, if you look at the sign on that bridge, you can barely read that sign. So to me, that's maybe why the driver got out and assessed and just looked at the situation and thought his tanker would fit underneath that bridge. Most probably it would have been a wiser decision to rather not go under that bridge. We all know that today. But there are many that say that he is not at fault for this situation. That if the fire department and EMPD arrived sooner and evacuated the vicinity sooner, then the amount of people that lost their lives would have dropped all the way to 0. But due to a very slow response time on both sides, unfortunately, we are looking at the situation we have today. Now, to be clear, I'm not saying that the fire department should have put themselves in harm's way at all, because I'm not sure if they would have been able to prevent the explosion. However, the claim is that if they had arrived earlier, they could have had more control of the vicinity and could have enforced people to get away from the tanker and not be in harm's way. The families of the victims are suing 3 companies that were involved in this explosion. They are suing for approximately 65 million rand. Infinite Group, the company that owned the tanker, Innovative Staffing Solutions, who hired the driver, and the city of Ekurhuleni for the poor signage on the bridge, and the poor response from the fire department for failing to properly evacuate the area. But as of now, There has been no convictions, no penalties, no real closure. The legal fight is ongoing, and for many, the grief remains. It's been years, but the scars remain. There's anger, there's haunted memories, and there's this nagging question. Why did this happen? A wrong turn, poor signage, corporate and municipal negligence, a system that failed to safeguard a human life. It's not just a statistic, 41 dead. It's human lives. Mothers, fathers, sons, daughters. Nurses that showed up for work on Christmas Eve. People going about their mourning. I want you to picture a family gathering for Christmas, expecting laughter and joy. Instead, now they are waiting for news that might never come. Hospital corridors filled with smoke. People screaming. Flames reflecting off broken glass. And rescuers overwhelmed. I want you to hear the silence afterwards. The kind that does not come from peace, but from deep, irreparable loss. And I want you to remember that this didn't have to happen. A bridge too low, a tanker misrouted, inadequate signage, poor safety protocols, all contributed. Those behind the wheel, those enforcing the policy, those entrusted with public safety, they failed. And now families are left to pick up the pieces. This is not me blaming just one particular situation or one particular group. This is me saying that it took one move taking the wrong direction to start a butterfly effect that ended up in what's probably the most gruesome incident that Boksburg has ever seen. So to the victims, to the 41 souls gone, we remember you. We grieve with your families. We demand accountability. And to those watching, let this tragedy remind us of how fragile life is. Let us remind us how important safety, regulation, responsibility are. If we fail to learn, we allow this kind of horror to happen again. But that's all I have on this story. What a heavy, heavy story this one is. I would be lying if I said that watching some of, the victims' families on interviews, talking about their loved ones and what had happened on that day, I did end up with tears in my eyes. Like, I felt so freaking sorry for those victims and so sorry for the family. This shouldn't have happened. It could have been prevented, and we must learn from it. But because of this, the 24th of December will never really be the same in Boksburg. And for a lot of South Africans, as that day approaches, we will remember. But I won't be seeing you again until just before New Year's. So, from 14th Avenue Haunting, I want to wish all of you a Merry Christmas. Please be safe and hug your family members a little tighter this year. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a spooky day.